So what's up, people? Welcome to what's been going on of this week. This one a bit different. I'm at a park, random park, just sitting. Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. This was one of those weeks that if I would tell young Daniel that I had this week, he would be extremely happy. It was an insane week. I'm doing an internship at the moment, but this week from the 6th to the 12th of July, there was a lot of accumulated vacation of the people, or of where I work. So they obliged us to have vacations, everybody, including interns, like myself. So I had the week as a vacation. It was a surprise. Like in my internship, there were supposed to be no vacations in the middle, of course, other than like holidays and stuff like days that are free for everybody. Well, holidays. So it was. I was surprised, but I was very happy to have this week's vacation. I think I profited. Like I'm living in Paris for this internship, and it was so good. Oh my god, I did so much nice things. Well, the week started very chill. So Monday I didn't really do much. Monday was just like the first, like very slow day. But then Tuesday, I went to a buffet. One of the biggest buffet in Paris that is extremely cheap. It's like 19 bucks. I've gone there one time before. Last time I had 10 steaks. This time I had like 6 steaks. A lot of sushi. Last time I had no sushi. They had like sushi. They had everything. I ate so much. I was so full, and it was so hot. So imagine I was like I ate so much I couldn't walk. and then like it was so hot as well. So it was like I had double headache. One from eating too much food, one from not walking. Well, one from the heat. It was intense. It was nice. And then then I came back home. Then we watched the Spain versus Portugal. I think it was on Tuesday. Nice match. I watched so much. I watched all the World Cup games this week. It was so good. And then Wednesday came. Wednesday is the big day. Wednesday is the day I went to the Louvre Museum. The most famous museum in the world, where they had the Mona Lisa. So I got to take a picture with the Mona Lisa, which is something I've always wanted to do. I don't know. Like I remember when I was living in Costa Rica, I went to a Da Vinci exposition when I was a kid with my dad. Well, with my parents. I have no idea. I was very young, probably less than 10, and I was very fascinated by it. I was like, wow, one day I'll go. Like one day I'll see the Mona Lisa, and I'll be there. And then it finally ended up happening. Even though I've been living in France for many years, I do not live in Paris, and I've never been to Paris before this, for a while. And then I came to France in 2020, like at 18. So imagine, I saw this when I was a kid. Then at 18 I came to France to live, but I never went to Paris. I had never been in Paris. And then when I was 19, so the year after that, I didn't come to Paris, but I had a layover in Paris that was very long. It was like 11 hours, 12 hours. So then I used that to go to the center of Paris. I only walked for, I didn't sleep, nothing. It was at night. I didn't sleep, nothing. I just walked for a bit, and the train station was very close to the Louvre Museum. So one of the first things I saw of my first day in Paris, I didn't really sleep here. I literally just walked for like 5 hours nonstop, and then went back to the airport, which was another mess because I had no idea. I had never been in Paris. I didn't know how to do anything, and I had a flight to go back home, so it was like a lot of, it was a bit risky. I almost missed the flight, to be fair. I almost fell asleep. I was so tired. But one of the things that I saw was the Louvre Museum at sunset. And I remember seeing that. I was like so captivated by it. As well, this was in 2023. So still, like the first time I stepped foot in Paris, like in the city, was 2023. But then I didn't come here for a while. And then I came here last year, so 2025. So 2 years after that. But for one day as well. I just had to do like an administrative, bureaucratic thing. And then now I came to finally like be here for a long period, like stay at night, like a long period of time, and then I finally got into the Louvre Museum. I saw the Mona Lisa. I took a picture with it. I saw so many statues, paintings, crazy paintings. The Napoleon with the crown. It was, it was, it was like a realization moment. It was like wow, like I finally got to come here, and I've always wanted to come. And then on Thursday, another good day, I went to the Louis Vuitton Foundation because it's free for students on Thursday. So it's another thing. It's in the west, like it's where there's a big park of Paris. It's not the park. It's called Bois de Boulogne. It's like a jungle slash forest slash park that's huge, and they have this foundation where they had an exposition. Nelma wanted to go. We went there. It was nice, but then what was nicer is that there's like a little garden inside of the, well, right next to the Louis Vuitton Foundation, and it was like a park for kids, and it had like roller coasters, and you had to pay you had to pay to use the roller coasters, but just to walk in the park you didn't have to pay. So we just walked so much. We saw some, I don't know, we like it made me feel as well like I was in a park, which like a roller coaster, like a Disneyland vibes, you know, Disney World, that I went when I was a kid. And then you know, this something like that happened later the week. So Louis Vuitton Foundation was that day. There was like, it was so hot, but I had fun. It was good. Then Friday we didn't do anything, and then we had to plan what to do the weekend. So we had no idea what to do the weekend, and we were like, okay, you know what? There's an aqua park that's very close to our apartment in Paris. Very close. Like super, like we can go walking, like 10-15 minute walk, which for Paris it's like insane. Like, oh, then you have to take like half an hour metro for anything, period. So 15-minute walk, very close. And then we found out there's an aqua park. It's very nice, and we ended up going on Sunday. But the pools in France, they have a very strict rule. Your underwear, well, your shorts, that you cannot use like pool shorts or beach shorts. You have to use like very, very short, like Speedo vibes. I've never had one of those Speedos. So then we had to find a Speedo. We went to like for 2 days we were looking for a Speedo. Well, one day I was very tired, and we just went to one store and was like, this doesn't look that good. And then the next day I was like, okay, let's go to a store. And then we went there and they didn't have the freaking Speedo. So then we had to go to another store on the other side of the city that like the confirm that really had this freaking Speedo. And I ended up buying a Speedo just to go to this freaking water park once in my life. And I've never used a Speedo in my life. It felt so uncomfortable. It felt so weird. They say it's for hygiene purposes. I find it very weird. Like, why do I need to wear a Speedo? Everywhere else I can be normal beach shorts. Why do I have to wear a Speedo in France? But finally, well, I got one, so maybe if I go to another public pool in France I can wear that. That Speedo costed me like almost half of the water park ticket, but I had so much fun. The water park, in the water park, it was one of this like, well, when I was a kid as well, when I was in 2016, so exactly 10 years ago, which is very fun, I went to an aqua park for a first, and at that time the only, you know, until Sunday, it was the only time I had ever been to a water park in my life. It was in Orlando. It was a park, and it was so fun. I went with my family as well. Well, with the family, one of the friends, and my parents. So it was like a big group thing. I had so much fun. It was one of my buddies from school. His name is Nacho. Sadly I missed contact with him, but I had a very nice time with him and his family there. It was so fun. We had a big house in Orlando. We went to this park, and I remember it. Like, they had one of the biggest slides, like water slides in the United States, and I went, like, before me there were two ripped, like, very muscular dudes, and then they looked down and then they went away, and then of the group I was the first one in line, so I had to go right after seeing two, you know, very muscular men say, like, go away because they were scared of it. And as well, at 12 I was very, very skinny, very scrawny, very small, so imagine like how scared I was. And yeah, so we went to the water park here in Paris. It was very full. It was very full. It was not as big as the one in Orlando, but still I had lots of fun. And then yeah, that was this week. Well, today France plays against Spain, so hopefully they win. If not, well, you know, it's okay. We're still representing France. It's good. But yeah, this was this week from the 6th to the 12th of July. This was a very nice week. Very nice week. Next week it will be a bit tough going to work after having such a nice vacation week. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah, next week it's the semifinals and the final of the World Cup. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully France wins. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you a lot for watching this What's Been Going On, and see you next week with the next What's Been Going On. Bye.